After a heated argument, my girlfriend of 6 months broke up with me over my lack of quick responses. She snapped, "I'm not changing my tone for nobody." I thought we could work it out until I caught her out partying with my cousin. I realized I'm done. This will be a lengthy post, ladies and gentlemen, so brace yourselves for this outpouring of a story, and I welcome your input. There is no need to be overly kind to me. I, a 25-year-old male, have been in a relationship with my girlfriend, a 24-year-old female, for 6 months. Our most recent dispute has soured our bond. She has her moments, but when she chooses to be, she is a good partner. However, it all began when she became upset with me this week on Wednesday morning. She was expressing her feelings to me by sharing her anxieties and difficulties related to work and life. She conveyed that she needs me to actively respond in order to feel heard and validated. I tend to be more of a listener unless someone explicitly asks me for advice, but she consistently desires my input. Sometimes, I take longer to reply because I have a habit of thinking before I speak in personal situations, particularly when discussing personal matters. She does not appreciate this, so she requested that I respond more quickly, which I have always kept in mind, until this one isolated incident when I did not know what to say. I asked her, "What do you want me to say?" And I struggled to find the words. I was at a loss. During our conversation, she was explaining how her second job would not let her work due to a minor back injury, such as a pulled muscle or something similar. She had to go through workers' compensation and get physical therapy and such. She became frustrated during that exchange we had early that morning, abruptly said goodbye, and hung up quickly, as she usually does, only to call me later. Later that afternoon, she wanted to discuss our earlier conversation, during which she expressed that she felt I was not listening or did not care about her problems. I apologized for making her feel that way and had to remind her that I had already communicated that I sometimes take time to respond. I wish she would be more patient with me. I am usually better at responding these days to ensure she feels heard. This was just a one-off event that occasionally occurs. She claimed that I took almost 2 minutes to respond. I believe she may have been exaggerating, but perhaps I did take long. Regardless, I said, "I understand why you are frustrated," and she made it clear that she was pressed for time because she called me on her lunch break. She did not want to wait all day for my response or sit on the phone in silence. Otherwise, she would not have called. I conveyed that I understood all this and simply took longer to respond, wishing she had been more patient with me. We were having a calm discussion about this, but then she began to grow hostile, raising her voice, not yelling, and speaking in a sharp and aggressive tone. I told her that I did not appreciate her tone and asked verbatim, "Can we calm down, and can we take a breath?" She refused and told me not to instruct her to calm down. I inquired if she needed time to cool off so we could talk later because I was not willing to converse if she would continue raising her voice and maintaining that aggressive tone. She stated that she would not alter her tone or voice and would keep the same energy even if we talked later, saying that if I had a problem with that, then it was on me. At this point, I lost interest in talking to her. She can be unreasonable when upset, but she has never spoken to me like this before. I told her I would let her go and that she should not contact me unless she is ready to have a calm and respectful conversation. She did not appreciate this statement, but she was already angry, so I allowed her to be. She then texted me saying, "Honestly, it is frustrating me that you are invalidating my feelings. I am allowed to be angry, and if you cannot handle my tone, then that is your issue. Until we resolve this, I will maintain the same energy and tone." She followed up with, "You are acting like a narcissist." To provide full context, I will be sharing the texts here, as they are rather lengthy. I responded, "I apologize if you felt that I was invalidating your feelings. Please explain how, but I never denied your feelings. We were having a calm and constructive conversation, but I observed your energy becoming more aggressive and hostile. I simply asked nicely if we could calm down because that was not how the conversation began, and I disliked the shift in tone. You responded that you would not change and that you would continue with the same approach. I am more than willing to talk when you have calmed down and when the energy is more suitable. I said I understand it is fine to be upset. We can still have a calm dialogue when we are upset without the aggressive energy. If you want to keep that same tone and energy, that is acceptable, but I will not engage in a conversation under those circumstances. Call me whatever you wish, but I will stand my ground on this." Her reply was, "What name did I call you? And as I stated before, I am a grown woman. I can use any tone I choose when speaking to you. If you do not like it, there is the door. Until we talk again, I will continue to use this tone until I am not angry. So break up with me if you wish. You are not my mother or father. I will use any tone I like, and that goes for everyone." This is not the case. We agreed that if we could not have a respectful conversation, we would revisit it later. I replied, "You have called me a narcissist. This discussion is not helpful or productive to our conversation. And yes, you are a grown woman. I recognize that you are capable of making your own decisions just as I am. I do not allow anyone, not even my parents, to speak to me however they please. That includes you. That is my choice, and I will not permit you to take your anger out on me should that be your intention and you are doing it deliberately. I have never claimed to be your parent, and I am not directing you on what to do. I am stating what I find acceptable and unacceptable. It is up to you if you wish to consider this. I am unconcerned about how you speak to others, but I will not allow you to speak to me as you wish. I will not bear that. And you continue to suggest that we break up and end this relationship several times lately. Do you truly want this relationship to end? This is a serious question. What is happening? Do we need to terminate the relationship over a disagreement? Her response is, what is going on is that you are continuously attempting to control someone. No one was yelling or cursing at you. Who do you think you are to dictate to another person how they should speak? If I am not yelling or cursing, I am entitled to speak in an angry tone because that is how I feel. You telling me to check my tone as if you are my parent is absurd and you are invalidating my feelings. So yes, I will continue to use whatever tone I prefer if that is how I feel. With that being said, do as you see fit. Because I will not alter my tone for anyone. I feel like you are trying to dictate how I should behave, and I will not comply. I responded, I am not trying to control you. If you view can we calm down and talk calmly, or can we take a breath as controlling rather than a request, then I do not know how to proceed. I did not demand, command, or instruct you to comply. I made a request and I also asked kindly. You did not want to comply and that is fine. I simply inquired if you needed time to cool off because I will not engage in conversation if you are going to raise your voice and speak harshly. You did not wish to do that, so I let you go as you can express yourself however you see fit. However, I do not have to accept or tolerate it if I perceive it as disrespectful or unproductive, thus I walked away from the situation. As I mentioned earlier, I am not telling you what to do and no one is controlling you. I never dictated what you should do. I made a request, and when my request was declined, I responded appropriately. In any healthy relationship, in my opinion, how someone communicates with you is always subject to discussion. I do not care how angry you become. I am not your emotional punching bag. You being angry does not grant you permission to behave however you wish, and that is unhealthy. I do not have to endure or accept it, so let us make that clear. Like I said, I will stand firm on this. If you wish to resolve this matter, fine, but I will not meet you at the table unless it is to have a calm and respectful conversation. I am not instructing you to do anything, I am making a request. Whether you choose to comply is your decision. And it is my choice whether I find it acceptable, and I do not. I am not forcing you, I am not commanding you. I am merely asking you if you feel that it is controlling that I wish my boundaries or requests to remain intact, then so be it. She replied, I already told you how I feel when you tell me to calm down, and since you perceive yourself as an emotional punching bag, I will just refrain from coming to you for my emotional needs ever again. I am finished with this conversation and will not continue to go back and forth with you. In the past, I had told her to calm down or relax, and I did not phrase it politely, which I learned from, so this time I asked, can we calm down, and can we take a breath, in the most relaxed tone. I replied, okay. At that moment, I was truly done with her. She did not want to talk peacefully, so what was the point? She responded, well, okay, so since you do not wish to support my emotional needs, what should we do? If that is the case, then I need to step back and take a break from this relationship. At this point, I was furious. Why was she being so obstinate? I replied, I just will not come to you for my emotional needs ever again. I am done with this conversation. When did I ever say any of that? You indicated to me that you would not be seeking my emotional support and that you were finished with the conversation. What do you want from me? I think we need to clarify what I mean by emotional punching bag. Please look at the photo. You were not directing your anger towards me, rather it felt as though you were venting at me. There is a significant difference. I never said you could not be angry with me, but I do not want it directed towards me in that manner. If you need a break, fine, but what does this break entail? All I requested was that she refrain from raising her voice and using an aggressive tone with me, yet I am the villain. Her response was, I will not continue engaging in these text exchanges. If you want to speak, please call me as I am done with this back and forth. After her last text, I called her and she answered. We discussed the issue and she behaved the same way. I informed her that I would hang up if she did not cease speaking in that manner. I too began raising my voice because I was growing angry. Funny thing, after I asked her to lower her voice and tone, I took a deep breath and calmed down, asking her why she could not provide me with the same courtesy. However, she glossed over it and continued to ask me, "When did I call you that name?" while interrupting me. We have a mutual agreement to let each person finish speaking without interruption, but she kept doing it. I told her that if she did not stop, I would hang up. She continued, so I hung up. I picked up after she called me about 3 times and asked if she would allow me to speak. She kept repeating her question, so I hung up again and she texted me. "Answer my question." "Fine, if you do not want to answer, I will block you." I replied, "I am honestly not in the right mood, headspace, or in a calm enough state to converse with you right now, good night." Her response was, "You are blocked, goodbyes." She attempted to call me several more times, but I ignored all of her calls. 10 minutes after my last message, she sent one final text. I checked my phone and this is what she had sent. "Answer my call, I have something to tell you." I called her back, and she informed me that she was breaking up with me and requested that I come and retrieve my belongings. She had tried to break up with me twice before but had never directly stated it. I only said the words once because I wanted a partner who would be there to meet my emotional needs, which she had not initially fulfilled. However, she said she was willing, and she had become that partner. We agreed that the next time either of us mentioned breaking up, we needed to mean it because then the relationship would be over. Even after she stated it, she continued to insist that I answer her question. I simply replied, "It does not matter, the relationship is over. Stand firm on what you said and I will see you soon." I immediately gathered her things and headed to her place, which is a town over, and the drive takes an hour and a half. With that context provided, now comes the other half of the story. It only goes downhill from here. On the drive, I spoke with my best friend about what had occurred, how angry I was, and how hurt I felt that the relationship ended over such a trivial argument. He listened to me vent. Fast forward to my arrival, I knocked on her door. Although I have a copy of her key, I did not enter. She had all my belongings packed up, including some of the gifts I had given her, and she asked if we could talk. I told her there is nothing to discuss. In a flat tone, I did not wish to converse. She stopped me from grabbing my clothes by wrapping her arms around me. I insisted that she not touch me. I felt repulsed by her at that moment. She complied and asked if I would just listen. She cried, begged, and pleaded, but I was unmoved. I stated, "You ended the relationship. I am not interested in talking and there is nothing to discuss." She appealed to my logical side, explaining that she had listened to me when the situation was reversed, so I should reciprocate. She was correct. I dislike being a hypocrite and I aim to be fair. So I listened to her. She expressed that she did not mean it, that she was angry, and that she would do anything to get me back. I told her I would consider it and left with everything except my clothing. It was late, but I returned home safely. The only message I sent her since Thursday morning was to inform her that I had arrived home, as she had been worried, and that was all she wanted to know. Fast forward to Saturday morning, I texted her. "Good morning, are you busy on Sunday?" She replied, "Good morning, no, have you reached a decision?" I responded, "If you are serious about doing anything to keep me in your life, I would like to have a conversation structured like an interview, with some conditions." She replied, "I am serious about keeping you in my life. What are these conditions? I acknowledge I messed up and I still want to be with you, but I want to ensure you are not taking advantage of the situation." I thought long and hard about this. I conveyed to her, "My conditions are as follows. 1. We will speak calmly and civilly. No yelling, no interrupting each other, no interruptions. If either one of us breaks that, we stop. 2. This is not us getting back together. This is an interview. I will pose questions and you will respond honestly and specifically. Take your time, I am not in a rush. 3. Be completely honest. If you lie, evade, or sugarcoat, this conversation becomes meaningless. 4. This is not a venue for guilt trips or emotional manipulation. Do not plead or say, "I miss you." This is about whether we can implement the necessary changes for a healthy relationship. 5. If I feel disrespected, interrupted, or manipulated, I will leave immediately. No threats, no debates. 6. This is not about me defending myself. This is about whether you comprehend, take ownership, and are genuinely committed to change. Let me know if you can agree or not. She responded, "Can you please call me? I would like to discuss these conditions." I replied, No, you are free to agree or disagree with my conditions, but I will not engage in conversation with you without them in place. She responded, I have a query, can we please have a conversation? She attempted to call me, but I was at work as I work Saturdays. I informed her. I'm at work right now. She replied, if you are going to persist in being hostile and refuse to converse with me, then there is nothing to discuss. I just wish to address one of the conditions, and it appears that you do not want to talk about it. I responded, I am not being hostile, I am clear-headed. Whatever condition you do not agree with or want to discuss, just text it to me clearly so I am aware of your stance, and I will decide how to proceed from there. She replied, okay, we will not sit here and pretend that you did not mess up either. I know I erred too, but I will not undergo this entire interview process to return to my boyfriend. It is either you want to reconcile or not. I will not keep begging you to be with me if you do not wish to have a civil conversation and work on our relationship. Those are my terms and conditions. I will not agree to an interview process. You also need to acknowledge your wrongdoings, and I will do the same. It is quite simple, and if you cannot agree, then we are done. I love you and I want to be with you, but I will never beg someone to remain in my life who does not wish to be there. I anticipated this response, so I was prepared for pushback. I replied, I am not asking you to plead. You ended the relationship and you are asking me to take you back. The trust vanished the moment you said what you said. I am not doing this out of spite. I am doing this so this situation does not repeat itself. If you are unable to accept my conditions, then I will accept that this is where it concludes. I will not compel you and I will not lower my conditions. She responded, well, I am uncertain what to tell you. I am not participating in an interview with you. I would like to have a respectful conversation. However, I will not go through an interview to reconcile with my own boyfriend. The rest I can agree with, but I am not participating in an interview. So with that information, do as you please. I do love you and I will continue to love you, but I am not willing to partake in an interview process. I understand that I ended the relationship and compromised your trust, but you have also hurt me. We need to have a mutual, respectful discussion, not an interview. Furthermore, if you can also acknowledge your part in this situation, I would be more than willing to talk with you. Please let me know what you decide to do. I started to lose faith in a successful resolution, but I kept trying due to my principle of exhausting all options before arriving at my own peace of mind. I replied, one, we will speak calmly and civilly. This is intended to create a respectful and peaceful dialogue. I will ask questions and you will respond honestly and specifically. The interview aspect merely serves as a structure. It is not meant to belittle you. This is, in my opinion, the only way to ensure that the conversation is productive. Feelings can become hurt in relationships. That is typical and we could have navigated through them. However, only if the relationship still exists. You ended it, there is nothing to navigate anymore. I can accept responsibility for any mistakes. I am not perfect, but let us view the matter clearly and acknowledge what transpired. We were having a standard conversation, and you turned it hostile. I requested a peaceful and respectful discussion, and I made that request politely. You refused. When you did not get your way, you ended the relationship. I articulated my conditions. If you cannot agree to them or the structure I wish to implement, then this can conclude here. I will give you until tomorrow to contemplate it. Afterward, I will move on with or without you. Her response was, considering your stance, we can talk tomorrow. However, I must leave now. I need to attend a funeral. I replied, okay, I am sorry to hear that. She sent one final text. Thank you, but moving forward, if we are going to persist in this relationship, you need to learn how to communicate with me properly without sounding like you are making demands. We can discuss this further during our conversation tomorrow. I did not respond, but at this point, I began to realize that the relationship had truly soured. She stated she was going to a funeral, yet several hours later, she texted me. I am out with your cousins. This cousin is female, as she is the only relative she knows who resides in her city. However, she is posting on Snapchat, clearly aware that I am watching. She is out drinking, bowling, and even doing a slight hip twerk in front of a mirror. This was the final nail in the coffin. While we were together, she was aware of my preference for modesty, so she would never post such content while in a relationship with me, as she knew I disapproved of it. To clarify, I never prohibited her from sharing selfies. I simply mentioned that I would not be okay with certain types of images, which she respectfully avoided posting. I am unable to believe in good conscience that she genuinely wants me back and wishes to make amends while behaving in this manner. Though our time to speak had not yet arrived, I have already decided to end the relationship. I do not feel respected. I do not feel loved. And I do not believe she will change. Even though I love her, I must let her go. I sincerely wish her the best, but it will not be with me. Summary. The girlfriend became very upset with the boyfriend and broke up with him due to an argument. She later attempted to apologize and take back her decision. The boyfriend considered it and wanted to engage in a discussion, but ultimately he concluded that the relationship was not worth continuing after witnessing her behavior.